So, yes, we're going to talk about the 1400 GS Adventure, the big boy, and got some really exciting news about that. I got really excited. The old blue vein hooligan come back into action, and even though I'm a GS owner. I better take this Santa stuff off because I've heard this year the original Santa's been cancelled. But don't worry, Santa's still got a donger. But next year, cancelled completely, no more donger, and it's a day Santa. A 1300 GS owner would know about this because unlike the manly 1250 GS, the 1300 GS has been called the Rainbow Warrior, the Pride GS version, the Soy Boy version, the Man Bun Millennial Machine. That's what it's been called, and yeah, all these coming from the most manly men ever in existence. Yes, the GS owner, the old bold, boring fat, the old sausage doesn't work. They said the 1300 isn't manly enough, and they would know because nothing's more manly than a big fat old boomer. So now let's get to the serious news about the R1400 GS Adventure. Or will it be 1300? Will it be called a 1400 and it's actually really a 1300? It's just a marketing exercise to call it a 1400. Well, that we don't know yet. But what we do know is, if we have a look here at the R1250 GS, it's pretty much the same as the R1250 GS Adventure. There is no difference apart from a bigger tank, taller suspension, slightly different rake, but it's the same bike. That's all going to change with the R1400 GS and GS Adventure because it's going to be absolutely completely different bike. It's not just a GS 1300 with a bigger tank and, you know, more travel suspension. That is not happening. This time, the GS Adventure is going to be a completely different bike, and this is confirmed by BMW themselves. 100% bank it in, it's a different bike. Now, what does this mean? This means it's going to be not just big, it's going to be huge, because guess what else? It's codenamed the Rhino. Yes, the big old Rhino. Now, if you don't know, the 1300 GS is, you know, codenamed Pacesetter. I don't know what it's setting the pace about, but anyway, it's called Pacesetter. The big GS Adventure is Rhino. Yes. Come on, get in there. And that's the thing, right? The 1300 GS is a great bike. No doubt it's a great bike, but it's not the big old coach the 1250 GS is. It would make an awesome sort of, you know, performance naked sort of bike, but it's not the big bus. The 1300 or 1400 GS Adventure changes all that. That thing is going to be huge. It ain't called the Rhino for nothing. And if you don't believe me, go listen to a podcast. The podcast is called Ride and Talk, official BMW podcast. The project manager of the 1300 GS was on it. And guess what? This is what he said.
There's people staring at their speaker right now and they're going, GS Adventure? HP2?
Yeah, GS Adventure, of course. There might be a GS Adventure, a big adventure always. Yeah. When you imagine today, we got this K50, K51, we talked 1250 GS Adventure.
Yeah.
Of course, the big one is always let's say the one that is impressive and so on. And
yes, the big one's more impressive. Of course, I've heard that all my life. The big one's more impressive, mostly from my girlfriends. I had one Greek sort of boyfriend, he said the same thing. Yes, the big one is always more impressive, of course. And now listen to this.
I'm sure also, like the 1300 GS surprised, also that one will be a big surprise.
You're going to have a big surprise. Yes, you heard him, the project manager. So, if you didn't get the memo, it's going to be big. And I'm so glad I waited. And didn't, you know, pull the trigger and get a 1300 GS. I mean, I'm going to ride that soon. So make sure you do subscribe. But imagine a 1400 GS. Maybe it's got a bigger motor. I hope it's got a bigger motor, more power. But I just want it to be big and impressive like the normal GS. The 1250 GS and GS Adventure is. They're big, they're impressive. The 1300, not so much. So that's about it. I'll wrap it up there, but I'm really excited. I reckon there'll be a few people that bought the 1300 when the 1400 GS Adventure comes out that will have a bit of buyer's remorse. Yes, 100% they will, because that thing is going to be epic. It's going to be like the old one. Oh, note to myself, next time bring fucking air guard. It's fucking insane the amount of flies out here. Santa! Hey, Santa! Everybody loves Santa, mate. Man, I gotta say, poor old Santa's got it tough here in Australia. He's got to carry around that big full sack around everywhere. And if you actually ever wondered why Santa's sack is so full, obviously it's because he only comes once a year. Not only that, Santa has also been in the news for other reasons. Apparently he's addicted to Viagra, and no one's taken it harder than Mrs. Santa. Well, he hasn't got his helpers anymore. Apparently there's no more ho-ho-hos for Santa.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm praying for the shaft.
Why?
Well, that's a good question. When you buy a GS, you sign up and you plead your allegiance to the shaft, the mighty shaft.
What's the big deal about the shaft?
What? You don't like my shaft? It's big. Would you like to play with my shaft?
Yours doesn't work anymore.
Oh, well, yeah. That's fair, that's fair. I'm a GS owner, so yeah. Actually, do you want to know, what does the Christmas tree and a GS owner have in common?
I have no idea.
Well, the wood's dead and their balls are just for decoration. Actually really worried about you because it's like 20 Ks to get home and you've got a chain. There's no way known you can make it home with that. I'm actually a bit worried. All right, whatever. Merry Christmas to you. Fuck me dead, this is a busy road. It's a fucking hill out of the middle of nowhere and fucking cars everywhere. Santa's not happy. Santa's not fucking happy. Yeah, so just say it.
I can't remember what I was going to say.
No, you won't. Just go, oh no, well yours doesn't work anymore. And poor old Santa, he's been in the news a lot this year. I mean, they want to cancel Santa this year. Yes, he's still a he this year. Next year, he's totally cancelled. He's a thee, a they, a them, a z, a b, a d, or whatever the hell they're called these days. Here you go. Here, that's a GS 1300. Just put an X on it. 1300 GS. Woo. All good. Cheers. It's nice that people come and help. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We got some kangaroos. We got some kangaroos. Hey, have a look at this. 5 times iPhone. Can you see the kangaroos up in the corner? There they are. See them all? Yep, they're sort of blended in there, but they're the roos. There's a whole bloody clan of them there. Whoo!